Okay. It starts at like 4 minutes. 30 seconds. I'm going to
Than what you're getting out of life right now. You know you remember so much more than what you're getting out of life right now. So question, why don't we? Why don't we get what we want? In the chat box, question for you. What's the potential of human beings? What's the potential of human beings? What do you think it is? Let's see participation. Limitless, Aaron. Good. Limitless, Katie. Yes. Limitless potential. If there is limitless potential, then why don't we tap into it? Why don't we tap into it? And it comes from one thing, it comes from our beliefs. Because here's what a lot of people do. A lot of people try to take more action, but if you take more action from a lower belief place or a limiting belief type of place, does your action even work for you? No, it doesn't work, right? You guys are trying to build incredible businesses and serve people in a greater level, right? You're trying to put yourself out there and expand and grow. So what we need to do is take a look at the root. And we can talk about strategies all day long, invitations, follow-up, social media, all that stuff, and that matters, but it's not nearly as important about what you believe on the inside. That's what matters most. Because this is why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. I'm gonna explain to you what's called the success cycle. Why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. From a belief, otherwise known as a feeling of certainty, we're going to talk about how to identify what yours are and shatter them in just a little bit. But from a belief, that's what determines the level of potential you tap into. So for example, if you believe that you're a badass and you can crush it and go after huge dreams, does that increase or decrease your potential? It increases it, right? It makes it go way up. But if you believe, I'm not enough, I don't believe in my own abilities, I don't believe I can do this, then what happens to the level of potential you tap into? It's not even a possibility to do the same things. So here's what happens. We have a certain belief about life, and that determines the level of potential we tap into. That then dictates the level of action or inspired action we take, and therefore the results we get, and the results we get reinforces the belief that we already have. This is called the success cycle. It goes belief, potential, action, results, belief, potential, action, results, belief. And so if you have a limiting story going down and down and down, you're gonna notice it's very hard to get out of it unless we learn what we're gonna talk about today, which is how to identify what's actually holding you, identifying inner conflicts. How many of you guys know that you have a big dream or a big goal, but for some reason, the action to create it, you're not fully doing the things you know you could be doing? There's a reason. And what most people do is they try to trim the leaves of the plant, right? Or go after and prune the bush, but they're not actually going for the root. We want to go for what's going on behind the scenes. That is what I'm a master at. I am a mindset coach and inspirational speaker, but I've also been trained by Brendon Burchard as a certified high performance coach. And for the last 7 years, I have been studying nonstop what makes people do what they do. Why do people act the way they act? What gets people to take a leap of faith? What makes people shut down? What makes people say, you know what, I'm going to step up and go for it? What makes people say, you know what, I'm not going to do it? And I like to kind of unveil some of those things, some of the inner conflicts that go on behind the scenes. I'm going to take what is unconscious and make it conscious for you so you can start to change it. Because write this down. Self-awareness is freedom. Self-awareness is freedom. When you know what's been holding you, you can actually do something about it. But if you don't know what it is, it's very hard to change. And so let's use an example of values, right? How many of you guys value success? Anyone here value success highly, right? But how many of you guys also don't like the feeling of rejection? Anyone else not like the feeling of rejection, right? Think about the conflict of that. If you are striving towards success, but simultaneously want to avoid rejection, do you see the conflict there? See how that might hold you back? Because the more success you have, what's going to happen to your level of rejection? It's going to go up. It's going to go way up. More success equals way more rejection. So if you want to avoid rejection, but you also value success, you're going to keep yourself in one spot or even go backwards. Even though you want the big goals, you're not going to take the action that you want. And so why is that? Why do we focus more on avoiding pain? Because everything we do in life is driven by our need to avoid pain or gain pleasure. Everything we do. What you wore today, whether you're in yoga pants or stilettos, right? Whatever it is determined by your need to avoid pain or gain pleasure. What you eat today is driven by that need. How you treat your kids is driven by that need. Whether you're listening to some guy yapping on a Zoom call or not, or you're sending your invites on your phone instead of learning, right? That is driven by your need to avoid pain or gain pleasure. Everything is. Why? Because this is not wired to make you happy. It's not wired to make you happy. This thing is wired to keep you alive, right? This is a survival mechanism. So the natural default setting of our brains is, what can I do to protect myself from pain? Let me prove it to you. Would you rather do more to earn $20,000 or do more to prevent $20,000 from getting stolen from you? Right? You do more to avoid the pain. So if you value success really highly, but equally value losing or avoiding rejection, then what's going to happen? You're going to do more to avoid rejection, so you're going to stay in the same spot even though you have big dreams. That's what we want to break today. And so when I work with I work with a ton of people in direct sales. Like that's where most of my clients come from. And one of the main things that I hear people say is, I can't succeed because I have limiting beliefs. How many of you guys have ever said that? If you're being honest, I can't succeed because I have limiting beliefs. Anyone ever felt that way? Think about this. That is a limiting belief. When you believe that you have a ton of limiting beliefs, what does that do to your inspiration? What does that do to the idea of possibility? What does that do to the idea of dreaming? It makes it go down when you believe you have a ton of limiting beliefs. Everyone does have limiting beliefs. But if you say you can't succeed because of them, you're holding yourself back before you even start. So what is a belief? Would anyone like to share? We got a small group call here. Let's do some interaction. What do you believe a belief is? Someone raise your hand. I'll call on you. What's a belief? Anyone? I don't bite, I promise. Who'd like to share? What's a belief?
Somebody do it.
Anyone?
Healer?
There's no right or wrong answer.
Go for it. I'll go for it. Something that we tell ourselves.
Good. Something we tell ourselves. I love that example. Anyone else? Anyone else? Bueller. Anyone?
Nobody said anything about me. Called, oh, Erin, come on, go, girl.
Erin, yes. Oh,
Sorry. Well, I mean, sometimes it's what we've been trained or taught to think.
beautiful. That's incredible. Yes, both of you guys are totally right. A belief is nothing more than a feeling of certainty. A belief is a feeling of certainty. It feels like a fact, but it's actually your opinion. A belief is nothing more than a feeling of certainty. A belief is a thought habit. That's all it is. You guys brush your teeth, right? How many guys brush your teeth on a regular basis? I really hope all of you brush your teeth on a regular basis. Now, flossing. How many guys tell your dentist you floss, but you actually don't floss? Right? Thank you, Erin, for your honesty. I appreciate it. Right? So it's a habit. Brushing our teeth is a habit. And we have habits in our life, like brushing our teeth or walking the dog or whatever it is. But we also have habits of thoughts that we consistently go back to. That's a belief. And when we think things so many times over and over and over again, it feels real. It feels factual, but it's not. It feels like it's the most, because please write this down. Whatever focus equals reality to the individual, even if it's not reality in actuality. Focus equals reality to the individual, even if it's not reality in actuality. Let me prove it to you. Your spouse is late coming home from work. It's been an hour and a half. They haven't texted. They haven't called. What do you focus on? Are they dead in a ditch? Are they cheating on you? Are they at the grocery store? Are they working hard in their business, whatever it is? Like what? Where's your focus go? Right? Now you answer this question is going to tell me a lot about your marriage, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. Right? Okay, so they're dead. They're dead, right? And let me ask you a question. When you focus on that, does it feel real? It feels real, even though it might not be real. Hopefully it's not real, right? But it feels real, even though you have no idea. Because focus equals reality to the individual, even if it's not reality. So your beliefs, when you repeat these thoughts to yourself, you will feel them. So if you have a belief, I'm not worthy of success, I'm not worthy of my big dreams, I can't go after this, I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm too fat, I'm not pretty enough, whatever it is, whenever you say that, can I swear? Whenever you say that bullshit consistently over and over and over again, it will feel real. And so we'll start to accept this truth, and that's what lets us tap into a certain potential. It lowers it. Less action goes down, crappy results, and it proves your beliefs true. In fact, the strongest force in the human personality is staying consistent with who you already think you are. The strongest force in the human personality is staying consistent with who you already think you are. So if you believe, it's a thought habit, it's not true, but if you have a belief that you're not enough, you're gonna fight like hell to prove that true. And that's not empowering. Positive talk, Brad, right? But we just want to call out the reality of this. That's what we do with our mind, but there's a way to change it. There's a way to rewire it. There's a way to make this so we never are stopped by this again. How many guys could benefit from learning what that is? Anyone? Awesome. Before we get into that, what I'd like to share with you guys are the different types of beliefs and how to identify yours. Because how many guys have said, I know I have limiting beliefs, I just don't know what they are. Anyone ever said that, right? Chances are you're challenged by perfection and you're trying to get the answer right. Because you probably know what your beliefs are because you say them to yourself on a regular basis. We'll get into that in a second. But there's two types of beliefs. Number one, global beliefs. These are generalities, speaking of generalities, right? For example, business is, money is, men are, women are, right? That would be a generalization, a global belief, a blanket statement or belief about something. Then we also have rules. The second one is rules. These are if-then statements, right? If I succeed in business, my husband won't love me, right? If-then. If I succeed in business, I'll have to sacrifice time with my kids. Think about that belief. How many of you guys believe that more success just means more sacrifice? If that's a belief where more success is more sacrifice, and you have people you love, are you ever going to want to succeed? No, because you think it's going to mean that you're taking time away from your family, when that's not actually true. You can leverage your time. You can be intelligent with your time. You can find a way, and actually the more you grow your business, especially in direct sales, the more free time opens up. But if you have a belief that came from, I don't know, wherever it came from, whether it's your past or just consistent exposure to what's going on in your life right now, if you have a belief that if I succeed, I'm going to sacrifice time for my family, that's going to hold you back. So let's identify what yours are. And my ask of you is that you're vulnerable here. Okay? Can we agree this is a safe space? This stays here. It doesn't go anywhere else. This is a community to grow. If we want to break through, we have to be vulnerable. We have to be real. So I'm calling on you as leaders to live that way. Okay? Cool? Awesome. In the chat box, I'd like you to answer these questions. Okay? How would you respond to this? Not the answer you think I want to hear, but the actual answer of how you feel every day. Because self-awareness is freedom, right? If you bring awareness to how you actually feel about these things, you can start to break free. How would you respond to this? Honestly, business is. Business is. Fun, Aaron, good. Hard, Katie, good. Hard, tough, booming, overwhelming. And so take a look at all these answers. All these answers are beautiful. When you take a look at these answers, can you see how from this belief, it changes the potential each of us tap into? If business is fun, you're going to show up with so much energy and drive and hunger and focus. If business is overwhelming, you're going to want to avoid it like the plague. Does that make sense? Right? So this is a limiting blanket belief, a global belief. How would you respond to this? Money is. Money is. Money is fun. Money is awesome. Money is tight. Money is low. Money is stressful. Thank you guys for your honesty. Hard to come by. Playful, necessary, freedom. All different beliefs. All different beliefs. And by the way, guys, you're going to hear a 4-month-old screaming and crying behind this wall at some point during this call. Just so you guys know. Cool? Because we got little ones in here and we're in a condo in Chicago and you can kind of hear things echo. But that's just life and we're just going to be real life here, right? Awesome. So we have these different beliefs about money. What do you believe about marriage? Marriage is love. Marriage is hard as fuck. Sacred, sweet, tough, trust, work in progress, hard but awesome, an adventure, challenging but rewarding, compromise. What do you believe about marriage? And can you see how, now take a look at the areas of your life that are not where you want them to be. Take a look at the areas of your life where you're not where you want them to be. Willing to bet it has something to do with business or money or relationships. There might be other areas, like your physical body, that might be something too. But just for this example, we'll use those 3 areas. Can you see how your belief might create that? Can you see how from marriage is hard?
He can't, but Allie can.
There's a pre-assumption of how it's going to be. So you lower your state around your spouse, and then they respond in the same way they've always responded. And it feels like it goes down and down and down. But if business is sacred, if marriage is sacred, if marriage is a blessing, if marriage is a place to give, a place of love, what happens? You show up like, I'm gonna go off on a little tangent about that because this is life, right? You guys want to succeed in business, marriage, and personal life, master that too. Because when you, for example, if your marriage is off, does that affect how you do in business? Massively. Because you have that pit in your stomach and you can't show up trying to serve. You feel like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm dying inside and I'm trying to serve people that way. It's going to keep you stuck. So one of the biggest tips I ever have with marriage with people is go back to the way that you were in the beginning. If you treat your partner the same way you did in the beginning, there will never be an end. If you treat your partner the same way you did in the beginning, there will never be an end. Because in the beginning, you can learn a lot about how to succeed in business by how you acted at the beginning of your relationship. Because the beginning of your relationship, you were marketing. You were a marketer, right? My wife, she would ask me, she didn't ask me this, I'm making this up, but she could have asked me to run to CVS at 2 a.m. to buy tampons. I would have sprinted there gladly, right? Sprint up, right? It would just be so exciting, so happy. I'm glad to serve. That's what it's all about, right? You were doing everything you could to give. And that's what you were focused on in life at that time. And what did your partner feel? They felt loved. They felt alive. They felt like they were valued. But somewhere along the way, before it was, honey, can you take out the trash? Oh my gosh, I'd be glad to take out the trash, right? And you gladly skip there. Now it's honey, can you take out the trash? Who do I look like, right? And that's what it turns into when you're focused on what you're getting. Business is the same way. When you are focused on what you're getting or not getting in business, you're missing the point. Business is about service. It is about giving to people. So when you go into your invites and you're so focused on how am I being perceived? Am I going to be rejected? The focus is actually on you. It's not on them. And you can't build a successful business focusing on yourself. It's not possible. You have to focus on serving others. Do you think like I'm worried? Does it seem like I'm worried about how I'm being perceived right now? I haven't shaved in 3 days, right? I'm in the middle of a launch right now, like doing these different things. I'm not worried about how I'm being perceived. I'm in here and I'm present with you. And I'm focused on no matter what, how can I serve? How can I help? How can I help these people break through in a moment? And if you do the same thing with your clients and your prospects and come from a place of service and you market yourself as service first, everything changes. I digress. So in your marriage, if you believe that it's hard, you're going to show up that way. You're not going to give. You're going to expect to receive. And then it's going to go downhill because you're tapping into less potential. You don't take the right actions, you get poor results, so you believe it's even tougher. Does that make sense? So business is, money is, marriage is. Here's another question I want to answer in the chat box. If you're being honest, what do you say about your business to others that you might be ashamed of? What do you say about your business to others that you might be ashamed of? Like, how many of you guys have ever complained about a lack of spousal support in business? What if I told you we cause it? What if I told you we cause it? If you're focused on what's not working and you're spending time away from your family, and then you're telling your spouse how it's really, really tough, how it's causing you pain, you think they're going to want to support you in continuing that, right? They want to protect you. They want to be your hero, right? Oh, it's not a big deal. Not saying anything, Betty. Thank you for your honesty. But how would you respond to it, guys? What do you say about your business to others? What do you say about your business to yourself? What do you say? Type in chat box, guys. Let's be honest here. Let's be vulnerable. Get it out. What's the limiting belief you have? What's the limiting belief you have? What do you think about your business when you're by yourself? What do you think about your business when you're by yourself? Can it really be as big as I want it to be? Is this going to work? I'm not worthy of being a big leader. Thank you, guys. Guys, way to play all out. Way to actually share what's on your heart. And so I can't do this. Jennifer, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So guys, take a look at these beliefs. You see how this limits you? Because is it true that you can't do this? Progress comes when you tell yourself the truth. Is it true that you're not worthy of being a great leader? Is it true that this isn't going to work? Is it true it's not a big deal? No, it's not true. It's an MLM, right? We're focused on how we're being perceived, right? This is network marketing. I don't want to share network marketing with people. Oh my gosh, how are they going to perceive me? They're going to think I'm sharing a pyramid scheme. Oh my goodness, right? We hold back. Thank you for asking, Lynn. That's beautiful. But what if this was an opportunity to help people grow an income from home and change their family's lives forever? What if you were the catalyst to someone being able to afford groceries for the first time in months? What if you are the reason that someone finally has hope and a bright future and a feeling like they can actually change their present? What if you were the breaking point of mediocrity in someone's life? Does that change the idea of, oh, it's only an MLM, right? When you focus on where you want to go, everything starts to change. Apologize about the baby, but that's just how life is. She's figuring stuff out. She's figuring stuff out. So what about if-then beliefs? If I stop working, everything will crumble. If I take time off, my business will fail. If I show up more in my business, my spouse won't love me as much. What is the belief? What is the belief that you have? Can you guys answer that? What's the belief you have? If, then. How would you answer that question? If, then. If what, then what? If what, then what? If I stop working, if I continue to do this, what are your limiting beliefs? What are your limiting beliefs? Let's get some honesty here. If I don't succeed quickly, people will think I'm a joke. Thank you. If I travel to trainings, my husband will resent me. Thank you guys. Yes. If I made more money, my husband will be proud of me. Beautiful. That's an empowering belief. If I focus on my personal development, then my husband will resent me, right? How many of you guys have ever felt like if I focus on my personal growth, I'm going to outgrow my spouse? And then we start to say, oh my gosh, they need this. And we try to project it onto them. And then they feel judged. They feel like, what, I'm not doing enough for you, right? You see how these hold us back. So how do we stop them? And I'm happy to do trainings at any other time about any of these topics, guys. But do you see how this might limit you? Because so many times people are looking for the tracking system or the invite script or the social media technique. And that stuff does matter, right? If you're in, let's say, a weight loss MLM or a fitness nutrition MLM, you can't go to someone and say, hey, you're looking fat today. Want to join my program? Right? That's not a good strategy. Don't do that, right? So the strategy, the invite script does matter. How you show up, and by the way, I don't believe in that script. Show up as the most authentic version of yourself and share from the heart. But you get what I'm saying, right? The strategy of how does matter. It just doesn't matter nearly as much as how you show up. Because when you're no longer focused on how you're being perceived and you're focused on service and loving and caring, people can read that. Guys, people's bullshit meter is so high. They can tell if you're like, oh, will you please accept me? Will you please join me? I really want to make some money this week, right? They can smell that. But if you're like, hey, I really want to serve you. I care about you. And I know I can help you in X, Y, and Z ways. When the focus is service, the game changes forever. So our brains will create what we tell it. In fact, the words you use to describe your experiences become your experiences, right? Business is hard. That will become your experience. Business is sacred. That'll become your experience. The words you use to describe your experience become your experience. How many of you guys have ever felt like you're barely keeping your head above water? Anyone ever felt that way? How does that feel? Type in the chat box. What emotions come from the feeling of I'm barely keeping my head above water? What emotions come from that? Anxiety, good. Overwhelmed, anxiety, stress, beautiful. Letting everyone down, yes. Anxiety central, overwhelmed, 100%, right? And are those resourceful states to solve challenges in your financial life and your business life? You're not going to solve the problem. You're going to continue the trend. But what if instead of barely keeping your head above water, what if you were splashing in a puddle? What if? What emotions? What emotions come with splashing? But fun, right? Joy, happy. That's a lot better of a strategy to create your dreams. Fun, happy, freedom, yes. That's a much better strategy to create the life that you want. The words you use to describe your experience become your experience. Business is hard, business is a gift. Marriage is hard, marriage is a blessing. How you talk about it, that's what it becomes. Wherever focus goes, energy flows, guys. Problems need energy to thrive. So if you have a consistent focus on problems, you will perpetuate your problems. You'll make them harder, you'll make them bigger. Because the brain will create whatever you tell it. Let me give a fun example. When you think of the word button, what do you think of? Think of a button. What do you think of when you think of the word butt? We're having fun here, right? We're having fun. Think of when you think of the word butt, right? Think of someone's behind. What about the word bum? What emotions? Actually, first, what emotions are associated with the word butt? That's a weird question, right? What emotions are associated with the word butt? Interesting. Colleen's like, what did I bring this guy on here? What about the word bum? What about the word bum? What about the word booty? What emotions surround the word booty? Baby got back. Big. J-Lo. What about the word ass? What emotions? Right? A little more sexual, hot, right? Jerk. There we go. Thank you for your honesty, right? But my point is, what's the point? We're all describing the exact same thing. They each just carry a different emotion. So how you describe your experience is what it will become. So if business is hard, you'll feel it. If you are drowning, you will feel it. If your back's against the wall, you'll feel it. If you're overwhelmed, it will feel real because focus equals reality to the individual, even if it's not reality in actuality. What if instead of overwhelmed, you were a little bit perturbed? What would happen if you were a little bit perturbed? See how it would get easier? So our brain creates what we tell it. Let me give you an example. Look around the room you're in right now and count up the number of things you can find that are red. Count things that are red. I'm going to get a sip of water. Count things that are red. Ready to go. Look for red. Look for red, look for red, look for red. Some of you are staring at me. I must be red. Look for red, look for red, look for red, look for red. Count the things that are red. Look for red, 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 look for red. Type in the chat box. How many things you find that were red? Amazing. And how many blue things? No idea. No idea why? Because you weren't looking for it. But I'm willing to bet there's some blue laying around. Look around the room you're in right now and see how many things you can notice that are blue. Ready, go. Look for blue. Look for blue. Look for blue. Oh my gosh, it's everywhere. So you're looking at me. I must be blue. Look for blue. Keep looking for blue. Where did it come from? Look for blue. Look for blue. Keep looking for blue. Look for blue. Look for blue. Look for blue. Look for blue. Keep looking for blue. Oh my gosh, it's everywhere. Look for blue. Look for blue. Holy cow. Where did that come from? Type in the chat box. How many more things you find that were blue? How many guys saw teal or green and pretended it was blue so you would feel successful at this, by the way? Right? Where did it come from, guys? Did it magically appear or was it always there? The truth is always there. You're just likely not looking for it. If business is hard, you will find consistent evidence all around you to prove that business is hard. And you won't see all the evidence around you to prove that business is a gift. If inviting is so challenging, and that's a belief, you will find evidence all around you to prove that true. But if inviting is a way to serve, you'll find that evidence too. It's all around you. It depends on what you look for because your brain is a Google search engine. It will answer whatever you type into the search bar. But so many of us are conditioned to typing in limiting questions. Why is this so hard for me? Why am I not enough? And because there's no stronger force in human personality than to stay consistent with who we already think we are, we'll keep trying to find evidence even if we don't like it, because the brain would rather be certain and in pain than uncertain and growing. We'd rather, like the devil we know is easier to deal with than the devil we don't know, right? That's why uncertainty, that leap of faith, feels so scary. So how do we shatter these beliefs? Really simple. Three ways. Number one, doubt. Number two, pain. And number three, vision. Doubt, pain, and vision. We're going to go through all three.
We're not going to go through all three. That's where we're going to stop it for tonight. I feel like that is a good part one to kind of sit and think about, because he said so many good things. And did you look around and find red and blue things in your room? I found 10 red things, and then I found 8 blue things without even I didn't even notice the blue when I was looking for the red. So I think he said a lot of good things as far as being able to reflect back on them, and what you focus on is your brain is going to start believing that. So I can send you the video if you want to finish it on another day and not so sped up. I just wanted to get us in our time frame here for tonight, or we can watch it again on another call. But I'm going to stop recording.
I would love to watch the whole thing.